It's your boy Sydney here. So today I want to chat about something very, very important. And I want to talk about how it is that MGTOW saved me and how it's saving millions of others. And as you guys know, I've been doing my channel for numerous months now, and for numerous months prior to that, I'd started going my own way. Something that I realized, and I guess it's something that I realized gradually, sometimes in like spurts and bursts, and sometimes you sort of go there and you're sort of just leveling out and you're always adjusting your level of thought train around this. What's going on, Prince and Dynamite? Welcome, guys. Smash that thumbs up if you've just joined. Now, one of the biggest things, and I do talk about this regularly. What's going on, Chase Luke? I talk about the expectations that other people hold of you. Now we grow up and we've got our parents, we've got our teachers, we've got our uncles, our aunties, we've got our friends, and we've got all of these people that have these expectations of us, whether they realize it or not. And when they have those expectations of us and we don't meet them, then they get disappointed with us. And then as men, because we like to please and we like to actually appease people and look after people and keep people happy, we without even realizing it, we constantly keep ourselves accountable for the feelings of other people without worrying about ourselves. It's something I realized when I separated from my ex-wife very late in 2016. Is I realized that, especially when all my friends abandoned me, I realized that when everyone else walks away from me, and when I get left standing in the middle of the open, vulnerable to everything, with nobody around me to help protect me and to help support me and to help stand in solidarity with me, I'm the only one left. So if eventually at some stage I'm probably going to be the last man standing, then why would I not invest as much time in fortifying and building myself as I do in fortifying and building the happiness of others? And now, as many of you guys know, and whether you're a fan or not, I personally owe a lot to this individual, MGTOW 101. He was my first red pill. I stumbled across him purely by chance, very early 2017, when I was still going through a lot of shit. And I binged on him for almost a month. Went through an entire back catalogue and realized a lot about what had happened to me and why things had happened in the past. And I got really angry, got very angry. And I would call that the red pill rage, and some of you guys are probably still going through that right now. Some of you will stay in that stage, and that's totally cool. If that's where you're at, then that's where you're at, and I respect and love all of you. But I guess I'm a fairly spiritual guy these days. I have transcended past that point where I really get upset about things. Yeah, I get very passionate and momentarily frustrated or momentarily angry about things as I discover them. But it rarely lasts for more than 24 hours, and then I start to think about what I can do to change things in a positive way for myself and for those that I care about around me. And I guess when I say those that I care about, that particular framework has evolved over time. What's going on, Omega? Danish NYC? Hope you're doing okay, Danish. What's going on, the man? Appreciate you all. So that framework used to be, the girlfriend at the time, my parents and this person and that person. And of course I love these people, right? Of course I love these people, right? These are my girlfriend and my family, right? And it's okay to love someone. But is it okay to hold yourself accountable to their standards over and above your own? I got a buddy at the moment, and you know, he's got his family framework and they've got the way they do things, and yet his girlfriend is pretty much calling the shots in some ways around, you know, she's basically got expectations of him which he's not meeting. And you know, I see where both of them are coming from, but it doesn't mean that she has any right to hold him accountable for her own expectations. It doesn't mean that he should hold himself accountable to hers. And the same goes the other way around. You know, she doesn't. You guys can still see me here because I just said it's bad connection for a second. What's going on in MGTOW Capone? Doesn't mean that she needs to be held accountable to his expectations either, because he's got certain expectations of her. And this is why I see the argument, because they've got expectations of each other. And as I've said many times, expectations breed resentment. And it was only when I totally freed myself, you know, I had all these shackles not shekels, I wish, had all these shackles and these chains of expectations of others binding me, holding me down, weighing on me, to the point where it was putting my spine out of alignment and causing internal pain in my heart, you know, not necessarily in my spine, of course, because it's a metaphor. And it was only until I actually let go of these. And guys, while I'm live on this video, because I've got 6 of you in the box, I appreciate you all. I want you guys to think for a moment about moments. Fucking Google Maps screwed me over again. About moments that you've actually found yourself, you know, under the expectations of others. You know, and in these moments where you found yourself under the expectations of others, I also want you to tell me, you know, have you ever felt like those people resent you when you don't meet those expectations or get frustrated at you? And likewise, you know, have you ever had people that you've had expectations of, whether that be as simple as being somewhere on time, right? You said, okay, we need to be there at 8 o'clock. And then they rock up at like 8:30 and you're like, fuck man, I said 8. Dude, what are you doing? Right? And you've got to actually realize that these are your expectations of them. Right? That isn't the way that they roll. It's the way that you roll. So guys, you need to stop having these expectations of others, and you need to stop trying to live up to the expectations of the others around you. Because yeah, those people are going to get pissed off when you don't meet their expectations, but that's their journey to discover that you know, they need to let go of the expectations that they have of you in order to stop getting frustrated at them. Exactly. Omega says, I have colleagues at work I do things for all the time at this point. They automatically expect me to do, and when I don't, they resent me. And this is exactly Omega, that's exactly what I'm talking about, right? Expectations are the breeding ground of resentment. I'll say it time and time and time and time and time again. I'm glad you can bomb them, Danish, and I hope that what I said to you the other day in the email is helpful also. It's going to know us Kamqua. So I know I've spoken a lot about expectation versus how expectation breeds resentment, and how you need to free yourself of this. But let me tell you about how in line with the title of this video, let me tell you about how it saved my life going MGTOW. Right? Because MGTOW stands for men going their own way. It doesn't stand for men hating women, right? Although some of you do, and that's okay. Some of you don't, and that's okay too. I don't personally, because I understand them now. I'm past the rage. I'm past the anger. What's going on, underdog? Appreciate you, brother. And yeah, it's just when I realized that I actually had the shackles on me, all I need to do is pick the lock and remove those chains and remove the shackles and remove the things holding me back and weighing me down. Because when I did that, I actually realized that I'm capable of so much more than I believed. Because when you're held down by the weight of things that aren't serving you, and really impacts your sense of self-belief and self-worth. And it's those things that are so critical to moving forward with yourself. So when I freed myself of those expectations, when I put myself in the shoes of other people, whether I liked the way that they think or not, I was like, okay, well, how is this person thinking right now, and why are they thinking that? And regardless of how unreasonable it is, I also need to, just sit back and respect and understand and be okay with the fact that, well, this is kind of how things are. This is how this person feels. This is how they operate. This is their way of thinking. And whether I like that or not, that's just how it is. So how about I accept it and move on? And when I did that, I was able to systematically release all the frustration that I felt and had, and all of the expectations that I had towards all of my friends who turned against me when my wife and I separated. And it was through that I found a sense of inner peace. And of course, then I found MGTOW, and then I found the red pill, and then I went through my rage stage. And you guys, Misery Man has dubbed it the ginger rage, and it still rears its head from time to time, but it's more passion than rage. It's gone on MGTOW strong. He never cared what people thought of him. Exactly. And now I don't care what people think of me. And it's the best thing that ever happened to me. And even people that come into my lives that I value, I still don't care what they think of me. And let me tell you why. Because I would never be a people pleaser ever again. If you think that I'm an arsehole, then that's cool. I'm an arsehole. Go away. If you think that I hate women, that's cool. If you're a woman and you think I hate you, then, well, you think I hate you, right? I'll tell you that I don't, but at the end of the day, it's your decision to make. And if I do hate you, it's not because you're a woman, it's because I think you're a shit person. But that doesn't mean that you, as a person that I hate, should then, I guess take that upon yourselves and let that be the weight that you carry. It should be like water off a duck's back. Dan Gosling says, people's opinions of me are none of my business. And guys, I talked about NYC says, once you don't give a shit about what people think of you is when you actually feel free. Exactly. And I also said in one of my other previous videos, there's this song, and I'm sorry if I keep dropping in and out, I seem to be going through a bad reception area. There's this particular song, it's called Champion by Chipmunk and Chris Brown. It's a fantastic song. If you get the chance, go and listen to it. It really helped me a lot to really fire me up and rediscover my self-worth. And one of the things that's said in there, oh my God, it set me free. It truly set me free from other people's opinions. There's 2 lines of that song that did this. It says, opinions ain't fact, take them in and let them go. And I was like, wow, that is so true. That is so fucking true. Because people have got opinions about me, but I'm still standing, I'm still surviving, I'm still making money, I'm still serving my purpose, which is to help you guys. And not only to help you guys stay safe, but also to discover yourselves. Just how it is. MGTOW Motion says, I always enjoy hearing how men came to MGTOW or how they've grown out because of it. Really getting tired of these boys dictating to us men how we should be MGTOW. Controlling men is a feminist trait. Yeah, look, and that's exactly right. It's a great song, Hey Underdog. And if you guys get the chance, I highly, highly, highly implore you, because I guarantee probably about 80 to 90% of you have been through this at one stage, the red pill isolation. And it goes something like this. No one wants to help. I guess you're on your own. Build a foundation with the bricks they've thrown. So the bricks that all of these boys are throwing at us men, shaming us for going our own way, for taking ownership and retaining the sovereignty of our own lives, right? No one wants to help. I guess you're on your own. Build a foundation with the bricks they've thrown. So use what they say to educate yourself, to realize, to bring yourself onto a new plane of thinking and build your new foundations of positivity with these bricks of negativity that have been thrown at you, and realize that, you know, you're past that point where you allow this to get to you. In a black and white world, true colors show, right? And that just show, and it just tells you, you know, black and white world, true colors show. Change if you want, everybody grows. And MGTOW just made a good point. Anyone follow An Ear for Men? Great channel if you haven't heard of it. Now the channel is called An Ear for Men, and it's done by a guy called Paul Elam that you've no doubt heard of, who has the website A Voice for Men. And you know, everyone calls Paul Elam an extreme misogynist, blah 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 blah. But guys, you need to go and check out An Ear for Men. And in fact, what I would ask you guys to do is go and look at a particular video and do a search for this. It's called Red Pill Isolation by Paul Elam. If you do a search for Red Pill Isolation, Paul Elam, it's ELAM. That will explain everything that you need to know about what you've actually been going through in terms of, you know, that loneliness that you feel when you discover the red pill, and you start to grow as a person and grow as a man, and realize that things aren't as they always seemed, you know, and as you've been told they are. And it was very, very helpful to me to understand what it was that I was going through, because quite often the people that help us the most through that stage where we're feeling lost, or we're feeling like, am I the problem here? And sometimes you are the problem, right? And that's when you got to learn that you are the problem and adjust to that, right? But don't let other people tell you that you're the problem. Let yourself realize this, right? Because if you let other people tell you that you're the problem and they're the problem, then who's the problem? You know what I mean? So go through your own sense of self-realization, be self-reflective, and you know, Paul Elam has been catching hell from MGTOW for years as Dynamite Rabbit, but you know, guys, whether you like Paul Elam or not, whether you put shit on him or not, it is extremely intelligent. And Omega, it is Warren Farrell. It's Warren Farrell that you're thinking of. Farrell. Yeah, guys. So MGTOW helped me to realize what was going on in the world, realize why I was having these problems with women. It also made me realize that everything's not as it seems, and that I need to do my own research. And like the last couple of years have just been a roller coaster of self-discovery for me. You know, and it's not a quick process. It's quicker for some than others, and the quicker the process is, the more heavy it is on you. And go and check out The Rational Male by Rollo Tomasi. He actually speaks a lot of truth. It's good to see ours Kamkwa. Good to see your bullets. So guys, once you discover that red pill, you know, don't let it consume you. Go and check out the video by Paul Elam on red pill isolation. And you know, focus on yourself and focus on protecting yourself. And if you do start to dedicate too much of your time towards something that doesn't serve you, I want you to really check yourself before you wreck yourself. I'm not trying to be funny with that catchphrase, but it is so true. You know, sometimes you actually need to reflect on yourself and just get yourself in check and make sure that you're not actually damaging yourself through your actions and your behaviors, and you know, and setting yourself back even one step from where you should be working towards. So yes, Bullet says be true to thy own self. Exactly. You can't be true to your own self unless you're unless you're constantly monitoring your progress, unless you're keeping yourself accountable, unless you're actually putting in place measurable steps that you can take in order to get to a certain point. You know, it's critical, guys. Do what you got to do to look after yourself. BMW says allowing a woman's perception of you to affect your perception of yourself is a mistake. And honestly, BMW, I agree with that. All right, I will in a second, BMW, when this traffic moves. But I would say allowing anyone's perception of you to affect your perception of yourself is a mistake. That includes men, it includes your family, it includes women, it includes everyone. And make sure that your intent is kind. Make sure that you know, even those that you perceive as your enemy, even those people, you need to say, okay, well, why are they my enemy? And what is it about them that makes me feel this way? Hang on a sec. This is for you, BMW. Alright, now I've got to pull in behind this truck. Yeah, relax, dude. Fuck. Truck just swerved in front of me to try and block me from coming up the side, but I wasn't even going to. Sucker. What's going on, MGTOW Poetry? Or should I say PJ? So yeah, once, and my mum said to me a few years back, and look, you know, mums and dads are generally always going to care about you. Some don't, unfortunately, and it's very sad when that is the case. I was very, very fortunate to have a mother and father that cared about me. I'm very lucky. Oh, Mr. Aussie accent just says, don't you miss the blue pill some days? After all, fairy tales make life easier to sleepwalk through. Fuck, dude. Only 2 days ago, I said this to one of my friends. I said, some days I wish I didn't know what I know. Some days I wish that I was completely unaware. I just wish that I was clueless, and I wish that, you know, all of this could go away, because ignorance is bliss, and it truly is. But once you know what you know, you have to serve your purpose around that. You can't just give it up. You can't just say, oh, well, it's too hard. It's like, no, okay, now you've got an obligation to yourself. And you have to Dynamite says you also have to be wary of believing the people who idolize you. Do not stand on the pedestal they offer you. And it's funny you mention that, because that same song, Champion by Chipmunk and Chris Brown, says this. It says, if they put you on the pedestal, they can take you off. I was like, wow, that's so true. So true. But yeah, as I was saying about my mum and my dad, even a few years back, my mum was saying, oh, you know, just, darling, I love you, and I'm just really worried about you. You know, really worried about what's going on. And I said, look, Mum, I've lived out of home for the last 15 to 20, oh no, hang on, how long's it been now? However long it was however long I stayed. It's been a while, as I said, it's been a couple of years ago. Said I've lived out of home for the last 20 years now. Said, and when's the last time I needed help from you? Said, I love you, you're my mother, and what I need from you is a mother, not a personal advisor. What I need from Dad is a father, not someone to tell me what to do. Mind you, Dad doesn't do that, but I didn't want her to feel excluded from. I didn't want her to feel like singled out, you know. And I said, I need you to be a mother. I don't need you to be someone that keeps me in check. I don't need you to be someone that tells me what to do, because I've lived on my own for the last 2 decades, and I know what it is that I need of myself to get the best outcomes for me. So I know myself better than everyone. I've lived with myself, you know, for the last 35 years it was at the time. I've lived with myself for the last 35 years. I know what I need more than anybody. then I'm the only one who's going to dictate what that is. And I said, I know that I'll always be a little boy, but I'm also my own man. And this man makes his own decisions for himself. And at that moment, she let go. And it was amazing. It was actually one of the best moments that I've ever had in terms of the interactions with my parents. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed. My nose is so itchy this morning. Hope you've enjoyed my stream this morning, and I hope that this motivates and inspires and triggers your train of thought if you haven't already embarked on this particular thought train, to deepen your journey of self-discovery, self-actualization, and freeing yourself of the shackles of expectations of others, and freeing others of you if you don't meet their expectations and they're stuck in that loop, right? Because do you want to be in that person's life if they have expectations of you that you can't meet or that you won't meet because you're your own man, going your own way, doing your own thing? And you got to let them know. You got to say, look, I know that you have expectations. Like if they're one of those people that they've always got expectations, just say, look, I love you, okay? But I know that you have expectations. Oh, hang on, I'll park over here. I know that you have expectations of me that I don't meet. And that's okay. But I'm not actually going to, I'm not ever going to meet these expectations that you have of me. And if I do, it'll be because I want to. It'll be on my own terms, for my own reasons, not because you expect me to do this. So you can either let go of these expectations now, or you can get upset at me for not meeting them. But either way, it's not your prerogative to tell me what I should or shouldn't be doing. All right, so that's how it is. Bullet says, my mum's the queen of guilt trips. And I actually watched not too long ago, a video by Jordan Peterson. I think it was with Bettina Arndt when they were both recently in Melbourne, if I'm not mistaken. And Jordan Peterson, whether you like him or not, said something very poignant. He said, never underestimate the power of guilt. And this is the biggest tool that a lot of women that have expectations of you, where they're trying to push you to fulfill those expectations. That's where a lot of women actually fall into that trap. What's going on, Nomads and MGTOW Monk? Matt Smith, my brother, how you doing? Thank you, Uncle Baldy. He says your stream's always thoughtful and thought-provoking indeed. I appreciate that, Uncle Baldy. So yeah, guys, look, that's all I wanted to say. Don't let, other people will try to guilt you into decisions. Other people will try to, and men and women and other people are always going to try and guilt you into doing what they want. But you just got to realize they are so desperate to get me to meet their expectations that they're going to try and guilt me into that. So this guilt trip is just a part of the expectations that they unfairly have of me. And I need to actually reset that situation and say, okay, I know you have these expectations of me, but that's not how it's going to go down. That's not what's going to happen right now. Let me tell you how things are going to work around here. I'm the boss. I'm the man. I have the penis. No, what's going on, Avon? And I haven't seen that video, MGTOW Monk, but I will try and check that out if I get a chance. So guys, free yourself of the shackles of expectations. Free yourself of the guilt that other people put upon you. You know, don't let that get to you, because it will if you let it. And once you let that get to you, it's all over. A MGTOW in motion says that is some other MGTOW that seem to be hellbent on seeing other men MGTOW or not fail. Pisses me off. What kind of ass clown wants to see a man fail? Disgraceful. Shake my head. Tread carefully in MGTOW land. And what I would say to you, MGTOW in motion, and I totally agree with what you're saying, but are you going to allow yourself to be held to the expectations of these other MGTOW? Are you going to allow yourself to be guilted into being the version of you that they think you should be, because this is exactly what this video is all about. It's about letting go of the expectations of others and resetting their expectations of you. Anyway, men, I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I hope this message that I delivered to you out of love has been valuable for you this morning. And it's very, very kind of you to always jump in the stream. And if you do want to donate to this channel, towards the work that I'm doing to help you guys out, check out paypal.me/sydneymgtow or patreon.com/sydneymgtow. Also got Bitcoin and Litecoin wallet IDs in the description below. Also check me out on Instagram, Patreon of Minds. I don't have a lot going on a Patreon of Minds right now, but I'm going to start moving my videos over there just in case I get jicked, which is my new time for we're jickied, my new term. Just like Zuckerberg, zucked, jickied. My morning stretch time. Oh, that feels so good. Feels so good. All right, guys, I'm gonna bounce. But also, if you want to check out my online MGTOW merchandise store, go to mgtowmerch.com. And if you want to check out Stand Up Men's eBook, which has it's $10, but it's got a money back guarantee. It's the best book that you'll ever read. Yeah, Feminist Power. You haven't actually even watched what I've been saying in the video. I haven't even been attacking women. So, and this is exactly the thing, right? You're attacking me. You don't even know what MGTOW is. Feminist Power, you do the same work in the same conditions with the same experience, then you'll get equal pay. Right? No, you don't actually know what it's about, Feminist Power. MGTOW is men going their own way, right? And when I say men going their own way, what I mean by that is literally we're doing our own thing. Now, Feminist Power, I want to say to you that you are perfectly entitled and perfectly within your rights. And I encourage you, if you don't want to date men, if you don't want to do that, then don't date men. That's okay. Right? And that's all we're doing. We're just not dating women. And if you don't want to spend your time or your money on men, right? I respect that. But we're also opting to not spend our time on money on women. We're opting to spend time on ourselves and focus on ourselves. Right? And Feminist Power, if you wanted to spend time on yourself and focus on yourself and work towards your best outcome, then, I encourage you to do so. And that's all men going their own way is. It's men freeing themselves of the expectations and shackles of others. That's literally all it is. So, I just want you to understand that, right? And yes, Feminist Power, there are a lot of men that are angry at women because they've realized that they've been fed a lie by the mainstream media about what women actually want, right? Because what women say and what they want, right? Yeah, they say they want equal pay, and then they get equal pay for the same work. That's fine, right? There's no... If women were truly cheaper to hire for the same work and the same hours, what would happen is that people would only hire women. So why do men... Why do people, women and men, not just hire only women if it's cheaper to hire them for the same work? Well, I think you'll find if you actually go and research the statistics from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, the 2016 census, which is essentially something that's done across Australia, and every individual fills out, their demographics and their statistics and details about themselves. What they do is they actually say how many hours did I work in last week, what sort of job do I do, what are my circumstances, and they basically write all about themselves. And it was found that in the week leading up to the 2016 census, there was not one single age group in which women collectively worked more hours than men in a full-time job. Right? And that's just simply how it is. Women between the ages of 24 to 30 are now full-time workers between the ages of 24 to 30 are now earning more than men. Right? Because more women are going to university. Right? Because the education system has been feminized to benefit girls. And this is shown in the fact that so many boys are failing in school. Right? We've got majority female teachers now. Right? So if you're saying that the majority of the education system is female, the majority of the people succeeding in school are female, even though it's roughly 50-50 population. And if it's roughly, and if out of all of the school leavers, 70% of them are going to 70% of women are going to uni, right? 70% of the people going to uni are women, and about 30% are men. Right? Is there still some type of patriarchy at play? Because I don't think so. Right? And you actually need to take a step back from everything you've heard from all these other feminists, all these parroted words, and actually sit and look what's going on, and say to yourself critically and logically, well, does the facts align with what I think? Right? Because I'm not attacking you, I'm just telling you how it is. Now, if you don't like that, that's cool. And you can go on living in the echo of other people, right? Go on living in the echo of, the left-wing bias that exists in university. And if you don't believe in it, go and search out Sharp Turn Left by Bettina Arndt, Arndt. Right? And she talks about this, and the statistics are there. The research has been done. What's going on, Riff Magos and Hafel Salcero? And I've got another friend who's a staunch feminist. Right? Yes, I have some feminist friends. Feminist power. And she was complaining to me about patriarchy while telling me that her boss and her boss's boss are both female. And she works in the public sector and she's quite high up. And I'm like, how are you talking about men ruling women when all of you and your boss and your boss's boss and you're all high up in the government agencies are women, and the government is the ruler of the country, right? And the government is the one that controls the people. So, I'm seeing more and more women controlling people. And if you actually go and have a look at my video that I did the other day on the Aussie government hates men, it gives so much support to women and none to men, right? And this government's meant to be the patriarchy, right? But yet it doesn't give a fuck about men. So, I don't know. I'm just putting things into perspective for you, feminist power. Not attacking you, I'm just telling you how it is. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you all tuning in. What's going on, J. Apathy Meadows? What's going on, Nomads? Appreciate you guys. Who else have we got here? Canadian Patriot, my man. You got Look. What's going on, Look? Here we go. And Hefes Elcero, here we go. Here's another sign that there's no patriarchy. Hefes Elcero's daughter had surgery yesterday. The surgeon was female and the nurse was male. Right? So these surgeons are earning a lot more than the male nurse, and they both work full time. Pay gap. I don't know, man. Hear it. There's more women than ever. There's more women now than men graduating as lawyers. Pay gap? What pay gap? Right? So you're getting everything. And also feminist power, as Nomad said, all your electronics which you use to communicate online and you use to make comments on my channel about how men are so oppressive and how men are attacking women when we're really not. Right? If anything, it's the other way around. Are you saying all your electronics which were made to communicate online were made by men? So if you hate us so much, stop using it. Exactly. The language C, which is almost the foundation for everything, C+. Macs run off the framework of that, if I'm not mistaken. The person that invented Windows and invented Mac OS X, the software on which almost the majority of all the world's computers operates, was made by men. All right, Android, which was a piece of software made by men. iOS, made by men. So all of the software which runs all of the world's leading major communication devices are made by men. And yet women complain about how they don't have a voice, and they complain about how they're so hard done by society and they're being held down. No, you're the freest that you've ever been. Australia is the safest country in the world, and that's been statistically proven in terms of the the rate of violent crime, across the entire world. As a percentage of people, right? Women are the safest they've ever been in Australia. Men are, and even Clementine Ford said this in one of her TED Talks, and she's one of the most staunch man-hating feminists in Australia that has a platform in one of the biggest newspapers in Australia as a commentary, right? And she even admits that women are statistically less likely to be hurt or violently attacked than men, right? And when you've got someone that hates men so much and even hates her male baby, right? And you can even check that out. She does a speech on that. She goes, I've got a male baby, and she's like, feed me, entertain me, love me. So boring. Men. She's like complaining about men. It's like, okay, well, it's your child. All children cry and want to be entertained and want to be fed. Like, do you even see what you're doing? Just checking the time, guys, so that I don't go over time and get late for work. So yeah, exactly. Feminist power. Go to any supermarket, guy and girl stacking shelves. They get paid the same. If the guy does more, it's because he gets more. It's because he does extra hours. And if the girl does extra hours over the guy, she gets more. Funny that. QE or not QE, I appreciate that, man. Even $1 or $2 a month is very much appreciated. And as promised months ago, I will be putting out a video this month showing that I do not spend any of the donations that you guys give to me. I'm saving it for when it's very important and when it's needed to go in after Tyrone. Jason Spratis, good to see you, brother. The Guardian The Guardian did an article on discussing on how AI will have a patriarchal bias because it's programmed by men. No, AI doesn't discriminate at all. At all. What else we got here? And Hefesel Cero says, in the corporate world, there is a preference for hiring women. They are advantaged, they get the opportunities. And feminist power, if you're still here and you're still listening, no worries, MGTOW Poetry, I'll see you later. If you're still here and you're still listening, go and check out the Australian Federal Police. They've got a drive to get 50-50 representation of women, even if less women than men want to actually be in there, right? So that's actually giving preference to women. Same with the Australian Army. And the Army, Navy, and Air Force, the three defence forces in Australia, all have lower entry standards for women than they do for men to help get more women in. Vodafone Australia and ANZ pay more superannuation to women that are right on the same pay. They pay more superannuation to women than they do to men. Yet men are more likely to get divorce raped. Men are more likely to have to pay the child support, and men are more likely to lose their house in a divorce settlement. Yes, it goes both ways sometimes, but it's more likely to happen to men than it is to women. And this has been proven over and over again. The court has a significant feminist bias which disadvantages men. All right? So this is just how it is. You know, men are actively being discriminated against, and yet women still think there's some sort of patriarchy. Men have done everything in their power to help women. Even a friend of mine who works for a construction company, she's very high up. She's earning significantly more than most men. And on top of that, she was writing a paper for NOIC, which is the National Association of Women in Construction. And the findings of NOIC, this association, found that men were very, very helpful to any women in construction, right? They were always trying to help and always being supportive of women. And NOIC even states this in their own findings. But then it talks about the glass ceiling and how women are being held back, which is two totally contradictory things. And it just shows that men are not trying to hold women back. They're very supportive of women, right? They're supportive of good women. They're supportive of women who want to learn, who want to take accountability and responsibility for their own actions. They're supportive of women who want to excel in their career and work hard and be decent and respectful to other people, whether those people be men or women. If those women are bitches and trying to tear men and other women down, and women who are, stuck in this sort of mindset of, oh, patriarchy's out to get me, they're always fighting for the top spot, right? Instead of just working with others and being respected for your contribution to the role. I see it so often, they're infighting. And there was even a woman who started an all-female company, and this particular woman, she thought it was going to be this paradise of sweetness and all this beautiful feminine energy, and what it became is a shitstorm of accusations, of blame games, of people not wanting to take accountability and getting angry at others and trying to tear others down, and the whole company ended up basically falling apart. It's like, well, proof's in the pudding, really. Yeah, we need balance, but we also need women that have, and look, the next generation of women coming up have been taught they don't need to have accountability, that men are at fault for things, and that's actually damaging those women, right? It's absolving them of a sense of responsibility. It's absolving them of their own accountability. It's absolving them of the ability to grow as people. And that's not healthy for the women or society in general. NYC says now men and women have a competitive relationship rather than a cooperative. Yeah, look, a lot of the time they do have a cooperative relationship, but a lot of the time it's competitive. And I don't think that when it's competitive, when you're competing against each other in the same space and fighting against each other and knuckling against each other, that's not helpful. When you're competitive, and you're pushing to sort of be better than each other, but for example in sales, one person's in New South Wales, one person's in Victoria, right? Friendly competition to see who can get the highest numbers. That's great. It's great for both people. It's great for the company. But when you're actually fighting against each other and trying to stomp on each other to just doing this whole thing, trying to fight and shit's getting messy, that's when it's just counterproductive and destructive. What's going on, Flownet and MGTOW Farmer? Women want equality in the corporate boardrooms. Funny you don't see them demanding equality on construction sites, in garages, down in the mines, or in the fishing ships. Exactly. And what Flownet says, this association NAWIC, they're looking to get more women into the white collar jobs like architecture, design managers, construction managers, all of these white collar jobs. But the reality is that equality in the construction industry will never be fully achieved, because until women start wanting to be bricklayers, until women start wanting to be carpenters, until women start wanting to be plumbers and electricians and sewerage workers and high voltage specialist electronics technicians, until women start wanting to be locksmiths on 24-hour call-out schedules, until women want to be all of these things at the same level as men, then there will never be a true equality in construction, because you'll never have 50-50 representation unless women are forced into these roles that they don't want to be in. Right, and it's these type of roles that pay more. And it's these kind of places that's where the pay gap's at. It's not in sexism at all. It's just not there. Right? And I guarantee, if you've got, and the funny thing is, right, if you've got a bunch of white guys working in a company and they've got women coming in, they're going to simp and white knight for that woman, right? They're going to help that woman till the end of the earth to excel, to learn more, to grow their knowledge, right? They're not going to try and push them down and hold them down. It's not how it works. And Rebecca Royal, and I hope Feminist Power is still watching this, because Rebecca Royal just said it's women trying to force other women to do jobs they don't want to do. Exactly right, Rebecca Royal, and I really respect that you made that comment, because it's so absolutely true, and thank you for pointing that out from a woman's perspective, because that's exactly what it is. This is exactly what this feminist elite, this feminist agenda is trying to do. I'm all about equality, right? But equality is egalitarianism. And guys, go check that up in the dictionary. Egalitarianism. That's EGALITARIANISM. If you need to play that back a few times, do it. But Rebecca Royal is on the money. Anyway, guys, See you later, MGTOW strong. I'm gonna bounce and get off to work. Ah, Icon of Sargad. What's going on? It says fair representation is theoretical, undoable, preposterous, and stupid. Exactly, and you know this hunt for equal representation in the army, equal representation in the Australian federal police, extra superannuation for women, women only IT classes at university, biased domestic services for women that men don't have. I mean, if this is patriarchy, shit, I'd hate to see what matriarchy is, because that's what we're living in right now. Just calling it how it is. Thank you so much, PM Barrett. Public schools are nothing but indoctrination camps nowadays. Exactly, MGTOW Motion. And go and watch my video that I did the other day, if you haven't already, on how the Australian government hates men. I appreciate you, Riff Magos, for the 5 shekels. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, brother. Anyway, guys. Hang on. Before I go, I'm going to read this Hefecelcero's comment. Remember the sci-fi movie Starship Troopers? They had the egalitarianism happening with male and female soldiers. And I thought at the time it was strange and would never be. Well, now it's reality. But, you know, I wonder if those egalitarianism... I wonder if the male and female soldiers had equal fitness standards. I doubt it. Anyway, guys. MGTOW in Motion, they're not anonymous, but if you wish to make a donation, check out Patreon and check out PayPal. Those are anonymous. Alright, guys, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining in. And I hope that you got some positive message from this today. I really look forward to delivering another red pill to you tomorrow morning, or maybe even this afternoon, depending on how quickly the thoughts come to me during the day. See you later, Riff Magos, Rabbit, MGTOW Motion, everyone. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to make it quick. I've got to bounce, but I will talk to you later. Peace.